back again doing a spoiler review of Jackie Chan Adventures Season 2. Now, going through this watch, I did not realize back in the day until only recently, maybe I knew at a certain point between when I first watched this show back when I was a kid up until this point. But when looking back on the number of episodes on season 2, I didn't realize it was so many. It's like it's like 32 episodes, I believe. But yeah, and most of it, which is kind of unique. Come to think of it, most, like, this is typical for anime. You expect like filler episodes, but it's like usually put in between like the crux of the story, throughout a particular season. But they did like the main arc of the story in this with the demon portal arc. But like after they wrapped that up, there was like at least a handful of episodes on the tail end of the season, I guess, trying to pad out the season, which is kind of like kind of unique in a way, like I said. But a lot of those episodes are still fun, and like I'm not knocking them. It's probably only like at least a few of those that like I just like honestly did not care for. But still fun nonetheless. But this season, like I said, we're dealing with the the first episode of season 2, dealing with like the aftermath of Shandu's defeat. His body is decimated, and his talismans are scattered, but not to the four corners of the earth like in the past. It's just laid out in front of the Valmont and his henchmen during the collapse of Shandu's castle. So they try to use it to commit heists and everything like that. But in the meantime, while Jackie and Captain Black and the other Section 13 agents try to get their hands on Valmont and his crew to finally lock him up, Shandu in his spirit form is in the like a nexus in a way where his demon brethren are trapped. It's like he got 7 siblings, all with different abilities. Now, and these Shandu and his brethren were banished to this nexus, since ancient times by these 8 immortals. Because since these demons were terrorizing the ancient lands, they found a way to. It couldn't kill them, I guess, but they found a way to banish them for supposed eternity. But they have this Panku box. It's kind of like a Chinese puzzle box that supposed to show where these demon portals are to their respective demon, so you can easily unlock them. Now, first and foremost, when it comes to like stories like that where like you gotta banish some villain away or villains away, why do you have like a backdoor key like this? It's like bizarre to me. Like, you banish some monster away that you can't possibly kill, or it is a kid show, you can't actually show killing, but they did did a fair bit of pushing the boundaries here and there. But why would you have like a backdoor key just to because somebody who probably researched this and found this thing, even if it wasn't evil or whatever, they can accidentally open a portal somewhere, even though like the portals are across the globe. Like, you don't know, I mean, like maybe like a couple of them it'll be hard to unlock, but any one of these demons can easily be let loose, and they'll do what they can to release their brethren. But it's a plot, and you gotta find like some kind of conflict. I just thought always strange to me when like storylines like that. But anyway, Shandu being like tortured by his brethren who are upset with him because you spent all this time on Earth. You didn't try to get us released. Of course, Shendu deny he's evil. He doesn't give a crap about his brethren. They barely give a crap about each other in general, but they just especially don't like Shendu. And ironically, Shendu, as powerful as he seemed to be in season 1 of Jackie Chan Adventures, he's pretty much the runt of the litter among his demon brethren, ironically. And I was thinking about this when I was preparing for this review. Since Shendu had these talismans that representing the 12 Chinese zodiac symbols, do each of these demons have their if some kind of sorcerer put them in a statue, they have their own versions of talismans inside them from I don't know, well, they're all Chinese, so they can't be different religions, unfortunately, because that would have been an interesting factoid. You got one for Western zodiacs, and then you got, well, I think only Western and Chinese or Eastern have only 2 variations of zodiacs. There's no, I mean, I haven't researched this, but do the Egyptians have their own zodiac? Do Norse mythology have their own zodiac? I mean, if they do, that'd be interesting, but they didn't do it that way. But that would have been interesting. I always thought that'd be interesting when I was a kid. Wait a minute, if Shendu has his own zodiac inside his body, but represent for the Chinese, then what about his demon brethren? Do they have their own little zodiacs, talismans inside them to give them their powers? I don't think so, but anyway. So each demon brethren have their own specialized power and an element that represents them. Shendu himself is a element of fire, and the 8 immortals who banish these demons away use different I had to pull up the wiki here because I can't remember them all, but to banish Shendu, the banisher Lan Che, I'm gonna be butchering these names, used the sword to slay the dragon, ironically, to trap Shendu in the first place. But well, I probably have to do this. I look this up, further research, because I'm thinking about, just like I'm doing with my chaotic lore videos for the TV show Chaotic, I probably want to do, I'm thinking about doing one after I'm done with that. I'm thinking about doing one for Jackie Chan Adventures, to do a lore video on that. But if you guys are very interested in that, I would not mind doing this, honestly, because it's very interesting. And I always love this show, and there's so much to find out about, different characters and abilities and items throughout this entire series. Because it went on for at least 5 seasons, so it's a lot here. And then you got Po Kong, the mountain demon, this gigantic, girthy, look like a sumo woman, and the banisher Zheng Gao Lao used a drum. And then you got Zhao Feng, the wind demon. Banisher Liu Dongbin used a fan, because the wind demon is used fire with fire, technically, used his own element against him. Chang Zhu, the thunder demon, the banisher Li Qiguai used castanets or maracas to banish him. Don't know how maracas, I guess maracas make kind of a thunderous sound in its own way, maybe, I don't know. Then you got Su Lan, the moon demon, banisher Han Zuigizi, I butchered the heck out of that. Zinganzi used the lotus to banish him. Oh, very quickly, of course, Fong was, had the power of wind, but Po Kong, her abilities. Let me go briefly over her abilities. her massive bulk nullifies any attacks from normal human, and she can easily devour anyone and anything she could get her hands on it. Able to withstand the dragon's talisman's fire blast without injury, and similarly, Taru could tank several of Drago's fireballs without being phased. Aside from her physical strength and eating abilities, Pokemon does not possess any other supernatural powers, unlike her siblings, who all possess an elemental or supernatural ability. However, she still has knowledge of magic. Weakness: her massive size is also a weakness because she can barely move and can easily be hit by a banishing chi spell. Okay, Chang Zhao, he has the ability for, he's a thunder demon, so he has electrical powers. Zulan is a moon demon. He has gravitational powers. When anybody, like, he reminds me of, if you ever watched Zatch Bell, there's a character Brago. I never forget him. He has, gravitational powers too. And I always thought, like, using gravity powers is probably the most OP, like, probably right next to like a reality warping and magic. It's kind of like those kind of OP kind of powers. It's like very hard to like contend with. It's not something, it's not like like Pokemon where water is weak against electricity is very common. You can easily counteract that kind of thing, but how can you counteract gravity? Then you got the guy, the Earth Demon, who has the he can control Earth itself, like soil, dirt, rock, minerals, and he can tunnel very easily into the earth, and just like Diglett from Pokemon, just burrow through any forms of rock. You got Shiwu, the Sky Demon. His powers and abilities, he can command the air pretty much. He can just fly. He's not very strong, but he's strong enough to carry a human very easily. He's an experienced spellcaster. He can easily transform into human just like any other, the Wind Demon can, because they're the main two that can easily be seen changing into human forms to disguise themselves. Okay. And he was banned by the playing the flute. He hates the flute. It was I guess since he's like a bird in a way, and I guess that kind of flute sound probably, I guess it's kind of like the affects his equilibrium while he's in the air, because he's like so aerial. Then you got Bizai, the water demon, banished by, the Sky Demon was banished by the banisher He Zengao, but the water demon by Zay, banisher Kao Guji, used the gourd. Gourd can carry water. These demons were very formidable in their own right, and each episode they had to, Jackie Chan and his team had to each travel around the world trying to prevent Shandu and the Valmont and his crew from opening these portals. Now, first and foremost, Shandu convinced his brethren to release, trying to like tear open like a void just small enough for him to get through, and because since he's in spirit form, he can still travel into the earth realm. and uh survive long enough to possess a body, and it'll be permanent until like he gets that host body to get the demon portals open so his brother can just come through. But they know how tricky he is, so they put like a caveat. He'll be stuck in that body and he can't get out until he not only completes his task but like holds up his end of the bargain. Now he decided like, oh, I'm going to possess Jackie Chan since he easily defeat Valmont's crew and in his Shadowcon multiple times. I'll possess him. I'll make sure he gets the demon portals open without any delay. But yeah, while like I said, they were tracking down Valmont and his crew, Valmont tried to knock Jackie Chan off not a cliff because it's like, well, he expected it's still technically a cliff in a way, but just not high enough to cause actual death, but high enough to definitely would probably cause injury. But he kicks them off, and then as soon as Shandu was about to get into that body, he got transferred into Valmont's body, so now he's stuck there. So they're sharing a body, and now they're back, but this time they're merged into one body. So it was part of the comedic elements here is between these two just bickering amongst each other, because Shandu pretty much took up the main control of Valmont's body, but every once in a while Valmont gains the upper hand to control his own body. But it's just like those two just bickering is just hilarious. It's just the comedic elements in this show is like top notch. If you haven't checked out Jackie Chan Adventures, I highly recommend you can easily get them all on Amazon Prime. That's where I'm watching this, and do your kids a favor, let them watch it. It's a great show for kids, and especially if you love Jackie Chan. It was like one of the best TV shows back in the day. It was on Kids WB. It was like a great show. It was like that was great for like Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, Jackie Chan Adventures, Batman Beyond, Static Shock. Those were the hits, man. I'm telling you, especially when it comes Saturday morning, they was like not missing a beat. They were so good, so good. But anyway, so now since they found they went on this escapade, found this Panku box, and this is rare because unlike the talisman retrievals from season 1, where for the most of the time Jackie and his team managed to claim majority of the talismans, while Shandu and his forces only got the sheep and the dragon. Now this is kind of like a reversal in a way, because all of them managed to open up these demon portals, of course, because you gotta check out the demon and their powers just to see them in full effect. But they each time they managed to open the portal and the demon comes out, but Jackie's there to put them back in. But each episode is like a nice little, you get to see like sometimes they utilize certain the talismans to help them in their ventures, just to get to help defeat these demons most of the time. But then Uncle definitely has his time to shine, because he's the crux of this, just to do his research in order to figure out which of these which demon they're dealing with and how were they defeated, and repeat the same process to put them back in and seal them permanently. But yeah, so of course yeah, the first demon was Lil Pei, and no, not Lil Pei. That's like a different thing. Hold on, I have to chill a little bit because I there's a lot of episodes here. Yeah, we got right. Dang it. Yeah, because some of this stuff might have been out of order at the time. Yeah, or maybe it was out of order on Amazon Prime. Well, let's go through what I see and notice here. Like, they had to go to Hollywood to release the Thunder Demon. And it was like a nice little moment where, like, Jade trying to get Jackie Chan uh, into the movies. And, like, he's going to be your next big star, Jackie Chan. It's like he does his own stunts, and it's like it's just so meta. It's like hilarious. I always thought that was funny. And towards the end of the episode, because like it was like an accident, but he like kind of fell like in a way where he left like in like a in wet, still wet cement, and of course Jade finished up the name, but Jackie left his hand and shoe prints on wet cement, and Jay, after the fact, wrote his name. So you got like his like Hollywood Walk of Fame kind of moment where he's got like in the Hollywood, you got like the handprints and names of celebrities. You got Jackie Chan's little thing there, because he is a mega star. I love Jackie Chan, but yeah, they used the castanets to banish the Thunder Demon. That was fun. They had to break out, or at least break into prison, to a Supermax prison in order to release the Wind Demon, because during ancient times, of course, during ancient times, none of the modern stuff were there. So like the prison they had to break in to release the Wind Demon didn't exist in ancient times at the moment when he was banished. So they had to literally be in the laundry room area of this prison, and that's where he released. And then like he released like powerful gusts of wind. It was like literally strong enough to blow even Toru back a bit. Oh, speaking of Toru, he's like completely reformed. He had a great arc throughout season 1 into the future seasons. He started with as a bad guy, but as getting towards the end of the season 1, I don't know if I brought it up last time, that he had a revelation, because like Valmont, after being betrayed by Shandu, tried to get Toru fight him. It's like, you want me to fight a demon? Like, this is going way too far. It was already Toru always already getting like a change of heart, like getting towards the last few episodes of season 1, and he's realizing what he's doing is like not good, and it's like he's almost like worn torn in a way. It's like, I don't want to do this anymore. It seems so crazy, and it's like, you got me doing all this crazy stuff. I'm getting hurt, and you're taking me for granted, and like you replacing me with Hawk Fu, who's talking down to me, and you treat me like one of these other idiots here, and it's like he just come to realization, like and like little by little you hear like Jade and Jackie trying to convince Toru, like you should come over to the good side. And Jackie made a joke in the last season, I didn't bring it up, like, you should really come over to the good side. Every Friday is donut day, or was it Friday or Tuesday, something like that, because Taco Tuesday didn't exist back then. So but yeah, you can see that the seeds were planted for him to switch over to the good side, and Toru became like a powerful ally throughout the series, and he'll have a major arc into, I believe it's gonna be season 3, when he's dealing with these other Japanese demons. But we'll get to that next time when I do season 3 spoiler review. But yeah, Toru is pretty much being an apprentice to Uncle, because Uncle earlier in the season realizing like, I was trained by my master to learn like not only martial arts, but doing research on all these different artifacts and all the mystical and magical stuff. I learned I learned from the best, but now I'm getting up there in age, and my bones is like all crickety and everything like that. I'm gonna need to train my own apprentice, and he chose Toru. And of course, Jade was like a little flummox at first, because like she thought, because she wants to be in action, she is this craving for action constantly. There is an episode like when they was dealing with the mountain demon. She was like, because she's like a kid, she's gung-ho about everything. She want to be in action. Like, she don't put any thought into anything she normally does. She always dives head first into stuff, but it's in a fun way. Normally when like child characters, when they do crap like this, it annoys the heck out of me. It always bugs me when kids do like the stupidest stuff, but it's not stupid in a cliche way. It's just like, it's smart writing, and they treat it and because like cartoons like this back in the day didn't treat kids like they're stupid. And it's like, you probably understand what Jay's coming from, because you see Jackie Chan, you want to be with Jackie Chan, you want to fight with Jackie Chan, you want to go all these adventures with Jackie Chan. What kid doesn't want to do that? Of course we will do that. But she was so eager to at least do something, to be involved, because she doesn't want to be sidelined. She took a book that Toru was supposed to be studying, and learn about like duplication, a duplication spell. And of course, it went awry because she didn't complete the duplication spell. She kind of half-assed it, and now she uses it on herself, so that way she can be home and do homework while her prime self can go off with Jackie. But her clone is pretty much just like her, so she's gonna come along too and not listen to her, which is like a nice little moment here where Jay gets to at least this one time understand where Jackie's come from, when it's like Jackie, they won't listen to me, they're so annoying. And it's like, well, you got so much why is that? You got so much in common. It's like, now you get it, now you understand what he's going through, because you're like, he doesn't tell you, he doesn't call you annoying, but you should know you're annoying him sometimes when you're telling you not to come on this dangerous mission. You don't stay home, and you're self-involving yourself with something that can easily get you killed, and it drives him bonkers. It's just like, now you understand. But of course, it's just like a running thing with Jade. But she kept constantly multiplying, but this little mishap turns into a benefit, because she used all her clones to take down this mountain demon who's so large. It's like Gulliver's Travels. It's got all these tiny people pulling this mountain demon down, because it's so large. It's like, you literally have to be as strong as Superman to take down this beast. But having like constantly multiplying clones of yourself, keep constantly multiplying, overwhelming her, work just as good. And that helps keep her down long enough for Uncle to cast a chi spell to banish her. But that was like a fun episode. I love that episode. It's very hilarious, and a nice little learning moment for Jade. Of course, the moon demon, they go on to go to NASA, travel to the moon, which is like how you get the demon portal into the moon, but or at least up in space in general. But that's where he is. It's supposed to be. I guess that's a kind of clever way. It's like, there's no way for anybody to release this guy, because he's all the way up in space and you're on Earth, so you're pretty much stuck. And back in the ancient times, they didn't expect space shuttles. But anyway, the moon demon, I think he's I like to think he's the leader of the entire group, because he's so poised and he's probably got the most powerful, one of the powerfulest abilities amongst the group, literally controlling gravity. But they all seem like they're in like equal terms. Other, aside from Shandu, who's the runt of the litter, they all pretty much like treat each other as equals and like respect each other, but they will turn each other on a dime, as seen when they all trying to, spoiler, crash through Shandu's portal, because Shandu also has a portal, 8 portals technically, and they try to crash through. Won't hesitate to push each other aside just to be the one to actually go through. But I like the idea where, unlike just doing it right out the gate, they actually at least, because they don't show you in this, any other kind of TV show like this before. This was the first time I ever seen, like, villains who all want the same thing, at least take the moment to discuss. Like, at least I think it was the Sky Demon who brought up, should we talk about this at least? And then another demon was like, what do you mean, like put it up to a vote? And it's like, obviously they didn't do the actual voting process, but they actually took the moment to actually think about it, because they respect each other enough to at least take the moment to discuss it at least. But they just dropped it, as soon as the portal opened. But that's in the final episode of the arc. And but Jade, who was trapped there after they locked up the last, at least the 7th demon, she was trapped in the Nexus, and then they got her out when she slipped through Shandu's portal. Then the Sky Demon, that was like another Jade episode where he got his tail cut off by accident by Jade, and of course they try and use that to track down the Sky Demon who got away, and he of course got decide to, okay, I need my tail back to be whole. I need to be whole again before I do my own thing. So of course Uncle put like a barrier, like a little good magic barrier amongst the house, his antique store. So he can't be, it's kind of like vampire rules. It's like the demon can't come in unless he's actually invited in by the passengers inside already. So he disguises himself as a kid, tricks Jade into befriending him, so that way she can grant him the invitation. I'm glad this didn't drag on through the entire episode. It's like at least part way through before the jig was up. And of course, like, Jade, of course, for a brief moment felt devastated that, because he disguised himself to be a kid named Seymour. And of course, Jay's like felt betrayed, of course. But then towards the episode, when she realizes, like, when she's speaking with Toru, who she's been, divulging her secrets, and became her kind of confidant, who doesn't look down on her or treat her like kids. He's probably one of the few people. Of course, the others have their moments of treating her with some respect and don't treat her like a little kid, but every once in a while, they, for the bulk of it, they do, because that's their niece, and they have to look at her, their guardians. They have to pretty much be the parents. But Toru is like that. He of course guards her, and he looks out for her like a parent would, but he's like still treats her more like an equal compared to like Jackie and Uncle. And she realized towards the end, just using the tiger talisman as like a symbol, like, like you could be my best friend Toru. You can be my guy, like just like the yin, just like yin and yang, like you're yin, I'm yin, you're yang. No, I'm yang, you, yeah, because yang is the more feminine, dark side part of the yin yang symbol, and the masculine light side is the yang symbol. And it's like, light, dark, big, little. And And then it's like it was a nice little sweet moment in between the two when Jay, see Toru as like a great companion and a confidant. It was a nice one. Just a brief moment about like Jade in general. I looked this up while going through the binge watch. The the actress who voiced Jade been in quite a few things. Stacy Chan. I thought it was very interesting. She, of course, is of Chinese ancestry. Attended Arcadia High School in California. She went to Stanford, where in 2010 she attained her bachelor's arts degree in communications and minor in Spanish, and graduated. And she completed the graduate program in journalism. She did voices in What's New Scooby-Doo, Fillmore, Drake, and she guest starred in Drake and Josh. And then her biggest, show she'd been in was in Jackie Chan Adventures. I did not know that she was in Charmed back in 1999 as like just role of little girl. That was it. Yeah, beyond that, she haven't, did much acting outside, because I think like Drake and Josh was her last thing she'd been in 2005, and I think she she might just be living her life on I guess just as a journalist. Like her years active so far as acting is concerned was in 1997 up to 2005. So it's just like she hasn't, I think she just find comfort just being like a journalist, and that's her primary occupation. She's 33 years old, just like me. She's born in the same year as me too. Like she's born in February 19th, 1988, age 33, and like she's around the same age when she started doing. She was like just like a little kid doing this voice acting thing, while I'm now doing it. But I just thought that was like a very, very interesting tidbit there, and I honestly did not know that. But anyway, yeah. They went to Mexico. Oh no, that's like in the tail end. I'll get to that in a moment. There's another filler. Hmm. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Oh, okay. Uh, Dealing with the water demon. Yeah, water demon, who had at least a couple of episodes on her under her belt, where uh this episode is pretty much like when Valmont was pretty much at his breaking point, uh dealing with Shandu and his oh man, I didn't know what's thinking. Let me, before I get to that, the Earth Demon. The Earth Demon, there was like just like an episode where like it was at this point when Uncle does his uncle stuff, this kind of like multiplies it by two. When he's not getting enough sleep, he's like constantly worrying about getting these demon portals and trying to find all of these eight immortals, and not finding the eight immortals, but just figuring out how the eight immortals balance these demons in the first place. So finding like the items that was used. He's just like very loud, like, Jay, you are too loud. You're the only ones yelling. And it's like he's just like that old man annoyance kind of thing, that stereotypical old man annoyance. Uh, uh, just he was just trying to. So everybody thinking like he needed some sleep because he's been restless, and it's affecting him. So Jade put a spell on him to sleep, but it dragged on longer than expected because she's like not good at this stuff. So they had to figure out a way to stop the Earth Demon, for the most part, without Uncle's help. So, but it was like a nice little. It's just like with like the Moon Demon. It's like not much character development, outside dealing with the demon, but it's just matter. It's not something like Uncle had to learn. It was just, it'd be nice for him to learn to chill out for at least a little bit, because how much of like a detriment it'll put on his family when he's just getting more erratic and stressed out, and he's projecting it onto everybody else. But they didn't show that. They pretty much just like realized, okay, like like Uncle just being Uncle. I'd rather take like cranky Uncle over like not helpful sleeping Uncle any day of the week. It's like, is that the lesson you want to learn from this? It's like, he was being kind of like like an ass for most of the beginning of the episode, when he's being extra cranky than usual. He should learn to chill out a bit. But this is my take on that. But then like dealing with the Moon Demon, there wasn't much character development for that. It's just taking down the Moon Demon, but figuring out how the way they're supposed to get in space, and of course like Valmont, his crew, at least by the Moon Demon and the Water Demon, they was like starting to realize how, even to them, they starting to realize how like screwed up this might be, allowing these demons to run rampant on Earth, because the Moon Demon wanted to mess up the moon's gravitational pull, and which would devastate the planet Earth. And then the Water Demon wants to flood San Francisco, which they live in. And it's like, okay, hold up. Of course they try to hightail out of there in which way they can, but dealing with the Water Demon, Valmont, so fed up knowing that he cannot touch the Panku box because it's filled with good magic, and Shandu mostly can't touch it because since they tied together, he can't touch it either. But he's so fed up, it's like, I'm going to give you the most pain that you ever affect. Since you're, doing all this to me, I'm going to, in some way, try to hurt you in any way possible, even if it means hurting me at the same time. So he grabs hold, and it looks like a massive electrical attack on him, and it's pretty much like knocks out Shandu. Even though he's still there, he's like just asleep. You can see, because every time Valmont looks in the mirror, he sees Shandu's he sees his visage, but it's not like just his solid face. It's kind of like ghostly face over his face. And of course he's he's like dead asleep. He's knocked out. So he runs to the only people he knew the part can easily help, which is Jackie and his crew. And like, of course they were reluctant to help, but they know that with Valmont's help, they can easily get this Water Demon. So Uncle knows how to figure out a way to banish Shandu's spirit from Valmont's body, but he doesn't have time to do that spell and find like the chi spell needed to banish the Water Demon. So he puts this little this kind of Chinese symbol, like a warding symbol, to keep Shandu down and not pop out until Uncle is ready to do like an exercising spell. But after Valmont being golded by Jade, when Toru and Jackie was getting like trounced by the Water Demon, Valmont stepped in to like help out a bit, but the Water Demon in the fight ended up washing off the warding spell off his forehead, which woken up Shandu. But in the ensuing chaos, they managed to banish, everyone. Of course, and Shandu in his last ditch effort. Okay, I have one last trick. We'll deal with like the book of, what was it? The Book of Ages, book of something. Hold on, chill. Yeah, Book of Ages. The Book of Ages, pretty much like is like a written text of what's happening through the course of time. Anything that's been done or being done currently is like magically being written through. And Shandu, who finally got released again in spirit form, and then once again possessed Jackie successfully this time, got Jackie to the Book of Ages, and like pretty much rewrote history where the demons wasn't banished, and they pretty much continue what they would have done through the course of time, which is like rule the earth, which devastates the flow of history and time for humanity. They couldn't progress. They stuck in pretty much ancient China's little time line, like wherever like ancient China was back in the day. Imagine it staying that way up until the point of current times. It's just humanity did not or could not progress because of the demons' hold over humanity. And each part of the world, they took over that section, making it their own domain. But Jade managed to rip out her point in history through the pages, accidentally ripped it off, so that way she remembers everything that's supposed to be. So she reforms the J team, Paco and El Toro, Viper, Uncle Jackie, Toru, and yeah, I think that's it. And just to put each demon back into their respective demon portals, but a few of them that's left got wise to the situation. They all do like a final battle where which is like a funny moment where like Paco and Jade fool around with the Book of Ages, like trying to like because when they go at it with each other, it's like a constant running gag. It's like they each trying to one up each other because who's the best, Jackie or Toro. And it's like each one take the pen from each other, try to write like Jackie's the best, and he Jackie grows bigger and bigger, and then like Paco takes the pen like, no, a Toro, and then Toro goes bigger and bigger. It's like Jackie and Toro, and he's getting bigger, and the demons is looking like, what the heck is going on here? And Uncle had to put a stop to like, you want Uncle the Bass, you want to stop the demon invasion? That yes, then write down something that for Uncle to help banish these demons away. And then Jay rolled in, make Uncle, because they rolled like turn Viper into like a cyborg, and wrote the Toro and Jackie and like more powerful than like bigger, and just be able to be as the size of those demons so they can fight them eye to eye. They wrote in Toro to be like a Superman character, and then they turned Uncle into like a big powerful mage where he can just will the items that was used to banish these demons away into existence, so he can just sends them off to each of the members of the J team and use them to like just blast them back into the Nexus again, sealing them away forever. And I don't think this is the last time we heard of Shandu, but I think it is. But anyway, it was like Shandu was like probably one of the best villains out of this entire series. But there are other great villains coming up along the way. but we will get to that because there's like Dalong Wong. He's pretty good. Played by a very prominent Chinese actor. He's like one of those like great character actors. Let me see, because I want to mention this now before I end up forgetting next time. There you go. Mm, oh, what is that guy's name? Oh, there you go. James Hong. That's the name. James Hong was the voice for Dalong Wong. So yeah, he'll have a prominent role in the next season that we'll get to. But yeah, after this arc of the demons was over, which looking into this, I feel like they could have kept this is like a relatively short season. Not short, but it was like you told the arc that needed to be told and just reselling the demons. But I guess, like I said before, they probably had like a mandate or something back in the day to like get more episodes for a second season because the first one did so well. Because the first one was just 13 episodes, and this one was 3 times as long. It's like 39 episodes in season 2. So yeah, but there's like a few of these filler episodes at the tail end of this season that a few of them were actually really good, like Chi of the Vampire, where they actually deal with like a Jiangshi, a Chinese version of a vampire. Yeah, that one's awesome of an episode. There was the episode where they actually meet the Monkey King. It was like this little doll. It was like a creepy little doll, creepy as all hell, that was in the shop of Uncle's rival, who was pretty much like a rival shop owner across the street. It's kind of like Bob's Burgers with like Jimmy Pesto kind of situation. I don't even know who's the guy of that shop's name. He was a creepy dude too, but not evil, just creepy and just antagonistic towards Uncle. But he was selling this one of a kind Monkey King puppet, and not realizing the magic behind that puppet, because it was like a Monkey King was like trapped in like a body of a puppet, and the only way to release him, or at least get him released, is pulling on his leg. And whoever did it pretty much is turned into a puppet, and Monkey King is released into a realistic body. And of course, he's like, if you know the Monkey King lore and Journey to the West, he has the ability of reality warping abilities, which makes him like one of the most powerful characters in this show. And of course, in order to get, of course, being like a realistic puppet, you can't move, so they use the rat talisman in order to get Jackie to actually be able to move and motion to the motionless, be able to move around, fight at least somewhat, and just help out Jade in order to get the Monkey King to eventually pull his leg, which they tricked to do. They managed to, because he's a trickster, they managed to trick the trickster by because Monkey King has to pull the leg. They never mention it has to be attached to Jackie in order to do it. So This is not the first time. It's not the last time we'll see the Monkey King. We'll see him again in like a future season, and that was pretty good too. But yeah, but there's like there another episode like T-Girl where Jade screwing around with trying to, because they want to put up the talismans into a safe area like that has like, you know, magic warding and people can look over them properly, because they can't, you know, they don't have to deal with like the Dark Hand or Shandu anymore, so there's no reason to keep the talismans locked up in section 13 anymore. So Jade being a little like she not covets, but she you know, going on these ventures, like I guess in a way, in her way, looking at these talismans is kind of like it's like a symbol of the adventures she's had along the way and the people she met, and it's like taking them away and sending them into like this far Chinese shrine area, being looked over by monks. She feel like she's losing something in a way, and I thought that was like a nice little, you know, little journey, or at least a lesson for Jade to learn. Is just like, you'll have your memories, but these things are very dangerous weapons, and like anybody can easily be tempted in taking these off, and they cannot be watched constantly by agents of the US or any other facility beyond someone who's actually are knowledgeable about these things and have the resources to keep them safe and on constant guard. But they end up being able to be allowed to keep them in section 13, which I kind of, looking back on it, as I was a kid, I was happy that it turned out that way. But as I'm older, I realized, you know, they was kind of right. These things are like, you know, lethal weapons, and they should be stored in, you know, in this shrine, like in this like Shaolin temple, to be looked over by monks who are passive beings who knows these things, can easily watch over this artifact and tons of other artifacts, who has definitely warding spells, obviously, to protect them against dark chi wizards like Dalong Wang, who this is probably the first time you actually, yeah, this is definitely the first time you actually meet him, but he's become prominent in a future season. But yeah, I mean, like there's also like throwaway episodes, like the time when they go over in this jungle, leading this expedition for this rich snob into, it's kind of like us, you know, trying to find this goblet of, kind of like the fountain of youth in a way, but it's being like looked after by, this is in Africa, but it's kind of like Wakanda in a way, but just not Wakanda. They don't have like any precious resources like vibranium. It's just only the fountain of youth that keeps them all young in this hidden village. But this snobby, rich, spoiled benefactor who wants the appearance of him being able to be the strong adventurer, but he's kind of like a wuss. And like pretty much like a charlatan in a way. But yeah, he got his comeuppance, and like he, of course, yes, the African tribe kept themselves young by drinking from the waters, but when that rich guy and his butler drank it, I don't know, I think, yeah, they pretty much like, instead of taking a sip, they chugged that sucker. And now it's like they kept reverting to their previous ages, and it's like, you know, the butler's, he was already kind of elderly, but he's now is like almost like a preteen, while the rich guy is, you know, pretty much like a baby, but still being able to talk like an adult. But it's like, I was hoping that's where it stopped, because it'd be kind of dark if he kept on aging to nothingness and the butler turns to a baby, and it's like, y'all, and I'm looking at, like, I'm thinking about when I'm watching this episode, like Jackie never went back for that guy, did he? He just allowed him to like just be stuck that way. until like it wore off, maybe, because once like he took that chalice of the fountain of youth from that chalice out of the hidden city, the people there are starting to age pretty rapidly to their expected ages until they eventually die, because they're, one of them is like a kid who's actually like I think what is that, like 300 years old or something like that, and it's like they're rapidly aging, and it was haunting to see as a kid when I see like this little girl who was befriending Jay just rapidly turn into an old woman before Jay's eyes, and Jay was horrified. It was like, it was intense. Sometimes you get like intense scenes, maybe not intense episodes, but I think the most intense episode so far has been like the vampire episode. But there's been some intense scenes. It's like, like I said, shows like this back in the day when I'm growing up, and like people in my generation growing up, they didn't treat us like little kids. They treat us, with some level of intelligence. Like, they're going to go old and die if Jackie don't get that chalice back. And you see her like getting that old woman warrior. It's like, Jade, Jade. And it was like, and Jay was like horrified. I was like, even to this day, I was like haunted by that. I was like, I forgot all about that until I rewatched this episode. Like, holy crap, that was like hard to watch. Not like hard to watch, but it was like intense. But like, yeah, but everybody's fine and dandy. It was like a relatively happy ending, but it's just like, it was kind of weird that nobody bothered to go back to try to get that guy and hope, try to at least bring him back into the States, or at least back to England, because he's English. Get him back to England to like his mansion, and people can look after him or something like that until like this stuff wore off. You leave him in the middle of a jungle as little kids that can't defend themselves. He already couldn't defend himself as an adult, but it's just like, you earlier in the episode you was dealing with a panther. This is ironic because, like, you got a hidden African city, panther, that kind of thing is just funny. Of course, I don't know if I bet you they were taking reference to like the writers of this episode. I'm pretty sure they took inspiration from the Black Panther comics and Wakanda and stuff, but Wakanda wasn't like a big deal as it is today, but I bet you that was a heavy inspiration. They just didn't have their own version of a Black Panther hero. It'd been cool if they did, but I guess they probably didn't want to go too far into like a straight up like a rip-off, But yeah, that's pretty much like Jackie Chan Adventure Season 2. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I just wish some of these filler episodes, I mean, they could have cut down on the filler episodes. They did not, or the writers could not figure out good stories beyond like the main arc. They should have just left it be. But some of these fillers are not half bad. I'm not a huge fan of filler episodes in TV shows, anime or otherwise, but I admit when I see a good one, I will be the one to say so. But please leave a comment below. Let me know what you think of Season 2 of Jackie Chan Adventures. Which demon was your favorite? I think personally I like the moon demon. Like, I really am impressed by the whole gravity powers and everything like that, and I love the voice actor of the moon demon. And I just don't like the story around him all that much. It wasn't like a huge deal, but it was just fun to see him and his powers working, him and Jackie face off, because you gotta, because of course in space, they're in space, they're on the moon, and like Toru's like chanting the chi spell Umo Guego 5 E Sao, and I always will remember that chant, even as like over all these years. Every time like someone bring up Jackie Chan Adventures, there's a few things that always stuck in my head that was like one of those references that will always stick with you. You're like, bad day, bad day, bad day, bad day, bad day, or Umogwe Gua 5 He's out. You know, that kind of thing. Or motion to the motionless. If you tell somebody who knows their Jackie Chan adventures, and you mentioned motion to the motionless, you know, you talking about the rat talisman, that kind of thing. But yeah, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff to Talkative Carl on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. And please follow me on my Patreon, www.patreon.com/talkativecarl. If you have an idea for an anime or a TV show that you want me to do a review of a few episodes of, subscribe to one of the first 2 tiers, either tier 5 is the minimum, where you can choose one of the 3 options, 3 episodes of one anime / TV show that you want me to check out and do a review for you, and I'll make it a priority. Or if there's a comic you want me to do a review, I will make it a priority and put it up. Or if there a movie you want me to review, I would do that and put it up. But you get all 3 in tier 2, and then tier tier 1 is the one or the other. Tier 2 is all 3, and in tier 3 you not only get a comic and a movie, but you get also your choice of an entire season of an anime or TV show that I would review. Also, on top of that, I will do a discussion video about anything that you want me to talk about within reason. So that's the tier 3 option. You get all those things, but with the added benefit, instead of 3 episodes, you get an entire season, and you get your choice of a discussion video that you want me to, like a topic that you want me to talk about, and I will do that video for you. And I will post these things on Patreon for early access members before X amount of time goes by before I put it on YouTube. So there we go. I will see you guys next time for season 3 of Jackie Chan Adventures, and I will talk about that. And yeah, and let me know in the comments below if you want me to do a lore video for Jackie Chan Adventures. I'm very intrigued about doing that in the future after I get everything wrapped up with chaotic lore videos. So take care, guys. Love you all 3000. Peace.